Elon Musk. You love him or you hate him. I said this in the last one, and a lot of you guys hated him. A lot of you guys loved him. This whole thing with Elon buying Twitter has been kind of interesting, if you ask me, because it's getting some drama, and there's actually some financial bits in there that if you got to take into consideration for this to make sense, I think. And I didn't really realize this until recently, but now there's Elon Musk is trying to maybe possibly back out of this deal. Meanwhile, Twitter is saying, no, you cannot back out of this deal. We made a deal. Even though just a few weeks ago, Twitter did not want anything to do with this deal, it seemed like. There's a lot of back and forth going on. So I kind of wanted to talk about it today and get into, kind of an overview of what's going on with Twitter and what are some potential things that could happen. So you guys all know Elon Musk wanted to buy Twitter. He was offering basically around $50 some a share. I forget the exact amount. And it was valued at closer to around, I want to say $30 some a share. So he was offering more than it was actually worth. And Twitter's like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to give you control. And all of a sudden the left, who used to love Elon Musk, it seemed like, because they're the electric car people, right? Everybody's like, coal's bad. Yeah, battery is good. Yay. Elon Musk makes batteries. Yay. Cars. Yay. So Elon Musk was a good guy. Now he's a bad guy because he wants to buy Twitter and make it have more free speech. Either way, whatever side you're on, I don't really care. You guys can battle it out in the comments down below. That's fine. What's interesting about this, though, is the little back and forth with Twitter, because now Elon Musk is saying, whoa. You guys told me before that 95% of Twitter's user base was actual human beings. You said 95% of only 5% of Twitter's user base was bots. And I'm not on Twitter, but everybody on Twitter, I guess, knows this, that it's definitely more than 5% of Twitter's user base is bots, are not real people. And he knows this, and he is saying, well, hold on. It's a lot higher number than you guys were saying. And if this is true, then maybe it's not actually valued at $50 some. Maybe it's not actually the value of what I was offering you. So I don't know if I want to do this. And now Twitter is saying, well, hold on. You committed to this. You have to do it now. We're going to push the deal through, which is their right to do. Why is this all happening? Well, because Twitter's fucking stock is going like this because of it, right? And that's the whole funny bit about it. Is let's take a look at the stock here quick. You see the stock was around $34. It got all the way up to like $50 some, almost where Elon Musk was valuing it at, and now it's kind of crashed, okay? Because now with talks of Elon Musk saying that most of Twitter is bots, it's not actually worth that much, blah, 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 the stock has started to crash, and now Twitter is saying, well, hold on. You committed to $54. And now the stock is plummeting and Twitter's freaking the fuck out, basically, right? The stock's plummeting, Twitter's freaking out, and they're like, well, now you have to buy it. Now you have to buy it for that 50 because we're going to lose everything. Our shareholders are going to kill us. So now they want to push it through. Elon, however, either one of them actually can back out of the deal, and I think it's $1 billion penalty. If they back out, it's like $1 billion penalty. But for somebody who's worth $240 billion, $1 billion penalty is not that much. That's like you having $240 in your bank account to your name, and you give up $1. Yeah, you really don't have. That's still, it's like 0.5% of your worth, but it might actually be worth it. And here's why. If the stock price drops from his value, let's say he was going to offer 50, okay, and then it drops down to, let's say it bottoms out at 35, right? Let's just use hypothetical numbers. Say it bottoms out at 35, and Elon comes back and says, well, now I'll buy Twitter for 40 or for 45. It's still $10 a share cheaper than what he was paying originally. He's going to save over $1 billion if that happens. So the $1 billion penalty, he's still going to, at the end of the day, he's going to pay less for Twitter by doing that method. Theoretically, if they still let him buy it and all these things or whatever. It's a very interesting subject, and it's very interesting to see what's going to happen in the coming weeks with this. Because of, if you just look at the last 6 months, Twitter was at $47, and it went all the way down to $35, $32, and it went all the way up to almost $50, and now it's back down to $36, all within 6 months, right? Like absolutely insane. It's just been all over the place, and you just see this big hump here, and that's Elon Musk offering to buy it. Everybody wants to be on Twitter now that free speech is back, baby. Yeah, let's go. Everybody's buying into this, and now talks of him backing out because of the bots and all these other things with Twitter. And I think, honestly, I think Elon's just trolling Twitter a little bit, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't actually know, but that's just my guess. The fucking stock just plummets again, and Twitter's losing their mind. absolutely losing their mind. So let's just get into the article. I did my explaining of it. That's probably very poor. But let's look at this article a little bit, and then we'll get into the video right at the end here. All right. So from this is CNN Business. I don't like CNN, but I'm going to use them as you know, so you guys know I'm not like looking up just right-wing sources or something. We got CNN here. All right, New York, CNN Business. Nearly a month after Twitter agrees to sell itself to Elon Musk in a stunning $44 billion deal, the fate of the acquisition remains very much uncertain. In recent days, Musk has said that the deal cannot move forward until he sees more information about the amount of spam and fake accounts on the platform, and has flippantly pushed back at careful explanations from Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal on the matter. Twitter, meanwhile, remains unwavering that the acquisition will go through. In a statement to CNN Business on Tuesday, the company said it intends to close the transaction and enforce the merger agreement. Again, so because they both agreed to this, so technically Twitter can be like, no, we're doing this no matter what. You can't hold it out. Like, there's no right to that. Like, you do the deal or you don't. And if you don't do the deal, it's $1 billion penalty. So it's basically as simple as that. Now, Elon can just back out of it and pay the $1 billion, and that's not going to hurt. For most people, that would ruin you. For most people, you'd be stuck doing this deal, okay? But you're dealing with Elon Musk, who's got $240 freaking billion, which is absolutely insane. Musk's back and forth with the company is widely viewed as him setting the stage to renegotiate the offer price or else back out of the deal entirely. No matter what happens next, however, one thing is certain. Musk has created a big mess for Twitter, the effects of which will not be easily or quickly undone. And in the meantime, the company's employees, users, and shareholders hang in the balance. In one scenario, Twitter is bracing for an innovative but erratic billionaire owner who is expected to cut some staff, overhaul the leadership team, and potentially undo years of content moderation efforts with uncertain outcomes for advertisers, users, and the morale of the staffers who remain. Holy shit, that's okay. This whole paragraph here is a very fucking biased thing from CNN there. Everything else made, some pretty, made sense. It's very objective. This is very, in another scenario, Twitter faces the prospect of a prolonged legal battle with the world's richest man if he tries to back out of the deal, not to mention the possibility of other acquirers coming out of the woodwork. Somebody else could come in and want to buy Twitter. Who knows? Bezos coming in. Who knows? The result could be unending background noise that adds to the challenges for Twitter to hold on to staffers that regain momentum. Just like the momentum I lost speaking there for a minute. Okay, they're kind of in a little standoff, Twitter and Elon. Elon's kind of got Twitter on the string, on the ropes. You know what I'm saying?
Is following this story for us. And Dan, we know there's been some back and forth. It looks like Elon Musk is trying to get a better deal, but Twitter might not be coming to the table on this one.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like they're coming to the table at all or have no appetite for this at all. According to reports, Twitter's top lawyer essentially said there's no such thing as putting a deal on hold. And that's in response to obviously Elon Musk saying that the deal was on hold because he didn't like what he saw when it came to bot numbers. Now, this really goes back to when he originally wanted to purchase Twitter, obviously $54.20 per share, $44 billion. But right now, Twitter's trading well lower than that, $73.29. So, obviously he's going to be paying a little bit of a premium there if it sticks at that. And so, a lot of people are now thinking, is he purposely trying to distance himself from this, playing up this bot discussion just so he has a way to get out? Now, yes. That's the thing, right? He posted earlier today basically a meme.
I kind of disagree with him, though. I don't think he's purposely doing it to get out of the deal because, again, you can't just back out of the deal based off of that. I don't think. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you're like a legal person who knows a lot more about this. But from my understanding, the deal is like already been committed to on both sides. If Elon wants, he can back out. It's just going to cost him a penalty. I think he's talking about these things because they're true. I think there are more bots than Twitter says there are. I think Twitter is probably way overvalued. And I think what Musk is maybe trying to do is maybe he's just trying to get the world to realize what the true value of Twitter actually is. And he doesn't really care the cost to do it because it's not going to hurt his pocketbook at the end of the day. And I think Elon Musk is that type of guy who I think he will do things out of principle even if it costs him a little change. I think he'll think that he'll do things for what he sees as the greater good. And I think if we can get people on this realization that Twitter is overvalued, is full of spam bots, is full of all these things, it is not what they say it is. I think he might be, maybe he is intentionally trying to, I don't know, crash the stock, but more or less, maybe he's just trying to get the stock to reflect the actual true value of Twitter, of what it should be. And maybe he will back out of it, pay the penalty, and then in the future try to repurchase it for a better deal. I don't think they're at a point now where they can negotiate the price anymore. I think that, from my understanding, the price has been set, and like they've agreed to it. And if there wants to be changes, he's got to back out and do a new deal. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling Twitter's been pretty overpriced from the get-go. I don't know.
Of Twitter showing that it runs only bots, and it's only run bots, and that the Twitter board has known this the whole time. I mean, look, it really comes down to whether
guys.
Or not, Twitter wants to go ahead and try to sue.
I don't think he thinks that's all bots.
To get out of this. They could do that. That could be a long process, or they could both break it off. If Elon breaks it off, he's going to pay $1 billion. If Twitter breaks it off, they're going to pay $1 billion. So either way, someone's going to lose money here. And, you got to wonder how Twitter employees feel at this point, because their lives are basically in limbo until they find out who's going to be their next boss and then what that means for the company going forward.
Now, I will say, I think this whole, like, what's going to happen to the Twitter employees, I don't know. I want to say that that might be a little overhyped. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't expect Elon just to go in there and wipe out half the staff kind of thing. I feel like most people, when new ownership comes about in a company, if they plan to keep the company, like, not a lot actually changes. I remember I worked for a company and they got bought out. Like, the whole company got bought out. It was a big coffee company, coffee roasting company. And I remember we were all the staff, we were all freaking out, like, what's going to happen to us? Are we going to get fired? Or, all this shit. Nothing happened. Like, they still wanted to make coffee. They bought out the company, not to get rid of it, but just to keep it running. And it just changed owners. That's all that happened. And I think that's all maybe a lot of the time. I don't see Twitter just being gone. I guess is my point. So I don't know if this whole the lives of the Twitter employees, it all hangs in limbo, and what's going to happen to them. And I think that's a little overhyped, but that's just me, maybe.
$10 billion already trimmed off their market cap. It was at $50 a share when Elon started making this move, and to your point, it's at 37 now. Let's get back to the heart of the matter, which is, at least Elon says, is about the bot. So he clearly is just a man with cold feet. Wouldn't this just be done in an hour in a conversation? Parag Agrawal is a very smart man. Elon said yesterday he thinks it's 20%. He's urging the SEC to investigate. Couldn't this have been done on a phone call, and how do we not have a definitive answer?
Well, according to Twitter, that 5% or less than 5% of users is accurate. That's accurate according to what they've done. They say they use automated processes to check as well as humans to check. So,
all right, let me know, guys, down below. Those of you who are on Twitter, because again, I'm not. Do you think it is more than 5% or less than 5% of Twitter are fake accounts or bots? All right, do you think 95% of all the users on Twitter are actual real people? Or do you think it's less than 95%? Let me know down below, because what he is saying is that Twitter has doubled down and say, no. We've used humans and AI to check, and it is actually less than 5%. And Elon's saying, well, I want that investigated because I think it's closer to 20. These guys, I think, are kind of siding more with Twitter. But from what I hear from the Twitter people who use it is that it's definitely more than 5%. I don't know. I don't use Twitter, but you guys will have to let me know down below.
That's what Parag Agrawal was saying over the weekend when he was tweeting, and Elon Musk, or rather Monday when he was tweeting, and then Elon Musk firing back saying that that's not true. He wanted to look at the information. Agrawal basically said, look, we can't put that information out publicly. That's our private stuff, and you're not
common response.
The owner of the company yet, at least. So, it really does come down to what that number is.
That
some
seems pretty
researchers have
sketch.
said it can be as high as 20%. 13.7% was a number from an Israeli company. That was their guess. Elon has said, well, God knows it could be 90%. So obviously, exaggerating there. But I don't know if they'll get an actual number anytime soon outside of him purchasing the company. And it seems that Twitter is going to hold his feet to the fire and say, you wanted this fight, and now you got it. So we're going to stick you to it.
See, I think that's a good point. I think that's probably what'll happen. I think it is funny though. This far guy on the left, I think he's pretty clueless. I think he thinks that Elon has got cold feet and he's backing out. I think Elon Musk is seriously like big IQ here, big brain in this. I honestly think he's big brain in this. I think Elon for $1 billion is willing to crash Twitter stock to the price he thinks it fucking should be at, even if he's never going to buy the company. I think he's that type of person who will do it out of principle. The same way he was ready to build a bunch of tunnels underground in California just so he didn't have to sit in traffic. I'm just saying, Elon to me comes off as that type of person. I think he's a lot smarter than this guy is giving him credit for. I think that a lot of this is intentional. I think it is. And I could be completely wrong. This is me speculating. I don't know. If Elon loses $1 billion, what does that matter to him? It really is. It's kind of a drop in the bucket at the end of the day, especially if he can get a better deal on the company. But even if he never buys it and he ends up just getting hit with $1 billion fine or whatever it is, at the end of the day, he just paid $1 billion to fucking ruin Twitter. I mean, worth it? I don't know. You got to tell me. But this is what I wanted to get to. It's a short little bit here by Ben Shapiro, everybody's absolute freaking favorite. I really do like Ben Shapiro. I think I don't agree with everything he says. I agree with a lot of stuff he says, but I think he's very, very good at. He's the type of person I kind of like idolize as far as speaking, right? As far as being able to convey your opinions or your message, being able to talk clear and concise and debate and all these things. Like he's regardless of if you like him or not, you got to admit he's pretty good at that. So. Let's just listen to what he has to say on the Elon Twitter thing.
Great irony has now arrived in the form of Twitter trying to force Elon Musk into keeping his end of the deal. So, Elon Musk announced yesterday, or a couple of days ago, that he might not go through with the Twitter buyout. He announced this because it was pretty obvious that he was overpaying. I mean, frankly, it looks like a bargaining position. And he had said he was going to pay $54.20 per share. And then he had Twitter over a barrel. Because, again, Twitter is currently valued at like $38 a share. And so he had them over a barrel because the minute he says he's not buying it at $54.20, the bottom falls out of the price. And that's precisely what you have been seeing over the course of the last couple of months. And if you look at the price for Twitter shares, as of May 5th, it was $50.36, right? Close to his buyout price. If you look at the Twitter shares yesterday, it over the course of the last couple of days, it dumped from $45 on May 12th down to $37 on May 16th. And that is because he's now in complete control of the Twitter stock price. He says that he may cancel the deal because there may be too many automated accounts, too many bots on Twitter. And so what he's paying for is actually just a bunch of bots. Now, Musk had this very funny clip yesterday where he was talking to an audience about this, and here's what he had to say.
The number of real, unique humans that you see making comments on a daily basis on Twitter is above 95%. That is what they're claiming. Does anyone have that experience?
Exactly. I mean, is that a laugh track or is that like actual people? I don't even know.
Okay, so everybody knows, of course, that Twitter has a ton of bots on it, a lot of fake accounts on Twitter. Everybody knows this. He is saying that you've been reporting to the SEC over and over that you have like 5% of your accounts are fake or bots, and actually it's way higher than that. Now, what he's really attempting to do here is cudgel the price down on his buyout offer. And he has the power to do this because even if he walks away from the deal, the punishment is basically like $1 billion. But to Elon Musk, is worth $240 billion. What does he care? He pays the $1 billion breakup fee. And for that threat, he may get to lower the price of Twitter from, say, $44 billion to like $37 or $38 billion. In a tweet on Tuesday, Musk said, quote, 20% fake spam accounts, 4 times what Twitter claims, could be much higher. My offer was based on Twitter's SEC filings being accurate. Said yesterday, Twitter's CEO publicly refused to show proof of 5%. This deal cannot move forward until he does. According to one professor who follows this sort of stuff over at Boston College, Brian Quinn, it is clear that Musk is trying to walk away from the deal or at least to cudgel the price down. He says that this doesn't make sense because not only has Twitter disclosed the uncertainty of its estimates for years, the company gave him the opportunity to engage in due diligence and kick the tires and look around. Musk did not take up that offer. Twitter declined to comment, but Musk is really playing with them.
You know what I think too could happen? What also could happen too is Twitter bends the knee. Because right now they're kind of not. They're kind of playing hardball with each other. Like Twitter's like, no. We're not backing down on our price. We're not doing any of that shit. And in fact, you agree to this deal, so we're going to hold your feet to the fire and make you follow through with it. And Elon kind of has the advantage in the sense that it's like, fine, if I'll back out. I don't care about taking the penalty. at the end of the day, Twitter's going to lose. They're going to lose big if they force the deal to go through and Elon backs out. Twitter's going to lose big. Or Twitter could come down in their price and maybe Elon would stop, complaining about all these different things and he would just buy it. And I think maybe that might be better for Twitter. Who knows? Like and that's what Ben's kind of saying too, is like he's got him by a thread. He's got him on a string, right? I think Elon really holds all the power in this deal because, well, at the end of the day, he's got more money than Twitter, and he's kind of in control of their stock price, which is funny as hell, even though he doesn't own the company.
Now, yesterday, he spent a lot of the day in a Twitter back and forth with Parag Agrawal, who's the current CEO. Agrawal posted a series of tweets explaining the company's efforts to fight bots, and Musk responded with a poop emoji.
He's like, Elon Musk is like the nerdy version of Trump, I swear to God, on Twitter. It's freaking hilarious.
So all of this is to say that Musk really, really, really has them by the short hairs here. I mean, they really have trouble here. Twitter is now trying to enforce the merger, according to Axios. So we went from Twitter desperately did not want Musk to buy them to Twitter desperately wants Musk to buy them now because their stock is in free fall.
Yeah, pretty much.
Twitter's board said on Tuesday it plans to close the transaction and enforce the merger between Musk and Twitter, according to the New York Times. Twitter's board said in a statement to the Times, quote, "The board and Musk agreed to a transaction at $54.20 per share. We believe this agreement is in the best interest of our shareholders. We intend to close the transaction and enforce the merger agreement." Twitter's board urged shareholders in a regulatory filing on Tuesday to vote in favor of the deal. Musk does have a contractual obligation to buy Twitter at the agreed price, but he could also just pay that $1 billion fine and then walk away. So, again, it looks more like Musk is just messing around with the price here because he's got Twitter over a barrel and that he's really concerned that deeply over the fake users. Meanwhile, maybe what he's really worried about is the fact he's going to take over a company where everybody hates his gut. So Project Veritas, they came out with some audio
I didn't think of that. That could
and
be
video
true too.
of a Twitter engineer basically openly acknowledging they hate Elon Musk and that they censor people they don't like.
This is interesting. I forgot about this bit. I don't know if he openly says he hates Elon Musk, but and we'll listen to it. Let you hear it. But
ideologically, it does not make sense. Like because we're actually censoring the right, not the left. Because everyone on the right wing will be like, "Bro, it's okay to say, you just gotta tolerate it." The left will be like, "No, I'm not gonna tolerate it. I need it censored, or else I'm not gonna be in the conflict." So it does serve the right. It's true. There is a bias. That is what it is today.
Right, so in other words, the right is tolerant of the left is intolerant of the right, so we censor the right in order to create balance. Pretty amazing stuff there from Project Veritas. Again, they're not journalists. The only real journalists are the people who just carry around a drool bucket for Joe Biden. Who's got two thumbs?
He's got to throw the Joe Biden bit in there. It's Ben Shapiro. Hilarious. Yeah, that's Twitter for you. That's the Twitter stock, up and down like the roller coaster. Let me know down below what you think is going to happen to the stock price with this buyout. Do you think Elon's actually going to buy? I might have to do a poll on my YouTube channel. Do we think Elon's actually going to go through, or is he going to take the $1 billion penalty? Is Twitter going to lower their price? There's a lot of things that could happen. And again, this isn't to get into whether you like Elon Musk as a person or not. I think it's just kind of a funny situation that's going on right now with him and Twitter. Because again, I don't use Twitter, so I don't really have a hand in this fight. I really don't care either way because I don't use the platform. But it is kind of fun to watch. I think Elon's kind of big brain in this more than a lot of these journalists and newscasters give him credit for. But let me know what you think down below.